In a race to create a metaverse inside a group of members and teams, the Facebook renamed that they provide the effort to the virtual places for both the consumers and the companies. Microsoft has launched its own version. That is, Microsoft will bring a maze that collaborative way for the virtual reality platform. The Microsoft Maze has always been the future of Microsoft Teams meeting, and it's now starting to take the form in the first half of the 2022 next year. We are a very much a meeting to the fatigue to the virtual world field. The Microsoft team expert has an opinion for this new 3D avatar in Microsoft that announced to create the environment in digital environment and the virtual reality world. It's not a binary, so one can pick how it can be appearing for the fact in a meeting, group discussions, and many other aspects in daily life, how we use that industry and the technological revolution, how it can be used for the technological advancement in the future field that our life become more interesting, entertaining, along with infotainment packages that help to grow survival of the life with some joy, and its new avatar has created many customizable choices for how to want to be a present in a gathering field. It's employ those AI implementation in the latest technological trend that creates to the generate the voice and animate this avatar field. Microsoft distinguishes between two types of rooms, which it's referred to as immersive spaces. The first kind of its gaming and entertainment, while the second is for the collaboration along with the productivity. The immersive spaces are where the Microsoft sees its mesh connections being the most beneficial, particularly in a bid to create those metaverse in the business and businesses along with those industry that demand this virtual environment platform and that obviously work with virtual reality or augmented reality headset. That interesting to see how it will change the future world, how it is generate those future industries and accessible to anybody using those varieties of devices involved that owing to the animated avatar production. This AI team is able to access those virtual spaces in the first half of this 2022, according to the company reports, have also emplaced with these businesses that create their own virtual spaces and those metaverse inside those platforms that Accenture has been experimenting with these ideas in establishing its own virtual campus for employees. And this metaverse inside the team, just a way the Facebook changed its corporate name to the Meta, the concept of this digital avatar that also represent to the way it's in the virtual environment is being developed by the metaversions. It's undoubtedly compete those aggressively in the metaverse era, and also it has spent some important years that investing in this technology to be grow, develop, and become a future interesting and very useful business model that using those technologies, those research and acquisition of all space virtual reality field that are not only ones that involve the future of this field and those projects that are connected, those social applications and some hardware to support them. The Facebook would strive to build that interconnected set of experiences of the science fiction, and the world is also termed at this level that a metaverse will may become a future of digital entertainment field and focused is only on the product communities, creators, commerce, and the virtual reality that would increasingly work to realize the vision, the remote addressable fact for the employees. The thing, the most interesting, how these themes will come together into a bigger picture, the bigger area that the goal across all these initiatives that is to help the bring the metaverse into real life. And the influential fact of this that will the venture is involved in this the characteristics that is growing and is developed for the physical and the virtual field, and some expert and some important field that we will effectively transition from people that seeing us as a primarily being a social media company to being a metaverse company that have to be able to take their avatar and those important from one place to another, no matter who runs those particular part of it. Critically, no one that will run the metaverse that could decide which was more audacious. The version itself is timing and intention to build the maximization of those versions of Facebook. The social presence also the important factor for the entertainment, and thus comes the time when US is attempting to break its current company and the package bills making its way through the field. I think as a lot of people, when they think about the metaverse, they think about just virtual reality, which I think is going to be an important part of our daily life. We're basically mediating those lives, our lives and our communication through these small growing rectangles. I think that's the one really how people are made to interact, and which I think is going to be an important part because it's the technology that delivers the clearest form of those presence. And this metaverse is not just a virtual reality, it's going to be accessible across all of the different computing platforms. It's also a mobile devices and those game consoles. Speaking of which, a lot of people also think about the metaverse as a primarily something that about the gaming, and it's the entertainment that's clearly going to be a part. And that's don't think that is just a gaming, it's just a persistent that synchronous environment where we can be together. And I think it's probably going to resemble some kinds of hybrid between the social platform and that we see as an environment where you are embodied, that touches one of the lots of biggest theme that we are working on. This, I think, the important community, and that's the stuff it was involved in the next 5 years. As a new chapter has been developed by this company to work together to contribute, helping building those metaverse vision in the future that changes the life of a people enter and involved in the new way of digital environment and the work that are doing across those application, and that the something is spending a lot of time to lot of thinking working of the tradition that people seeing us from a primarily being a social media to being a metaverse involvement. That's the company's opinion, how it will change and how it will transform the future. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.